What's going on, everyone? It is a rare stream over at Bloody Breakdown. I've once again hacked Wilson's channel. I kicked that fucking volleyball to the curve, and we're gonna take a look at some videos today. Now, I guess this is gonna be somewhat of kind of bringing together two worlds again. I've done this kind of in the past where horror is the topic, but I'm more or less riffing on these guys. Uh, so once again, kind of a two worlds collide kind of stream here. I was actually speaking of the older videos I've done in this kind of format on this channel. That's where today's subjects come from. So I had a commenter. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, who in one of those videos dropped these two gentlemen's names, their YouTube handles that we're going to be taking a look at here tonight. This first guy, I honestly thought for the first maybe 3 or 4 minutes of this video that he was a troll, and I was about to just abandon, move on to the next video. But then I went and I looked at his other videos, and it's not that he's a troll. He's just very fucking stupid. So sometimes it's a thin line, uh, but some of you may see exactly what I'm talking about as we progress here. Wilson says Brand's favorite John Carpenter movie is Ghosts of Mars. It is not. You take that back. Don't you ever sully my name or John Carpenter's name like that again. No, sir. We're not doing that. So you know what? What are we waiting for here? Today we're going to be looking at a couple of videos. As you can tell by the title and thumbnail, some guys who are clueless, do not understand not only just horror as a film genre, but in a lot of aspects, these guys don't understand film at all. So both of these videos are from of course, an anti-horror perspective. These guys are coming from two very different places. So it's going to be interesting to check this out. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is Mr. Mojo Man, I believe is his channel name. And this is his take. Everything wrong with slasher movies and the weirdos who enjoy them. So that's me. That's some of you. We're all weirdos. Let's check it out.
Do you like watching people get brutally murdered for no reason at all? If you do, you'd probably like slasher movies, because the entire selling point of slasher movies is that you get to watch people get stabbed to death with kitchen knives, kind of like this. Because why else would you watch these movies? The plot's boring.
Well, I mean, let's not act like what he just said isn't completely true. I mean, sure, that is one of the things that people do want to see when they go to see a movie like that. But yeah, there's a whole lot more to a horror flick, and specifically a slasher flick, that we're going to be able to delve into a little bit more in this stream, because he does go into specifics here. One thing I did want to do is see, Wilson, now I'm seeing why Billy kept banning you. I'm starting to see it. My favorite Halloween movie is H2O. It is not. I don't even know if it would be in the top half of the franchise for me. Maybe towards the bottom of the top half. But no, stop that, Wilson. I'm totally seeing exactly why Billy was doing what he was doing. Thank you, R. Ezreal, for being a member for 17 months. That is fucking insane. Appreciate that. Come on now, slashers are more than knives. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a very surface level guy. You're gonna find that out soon. You're gonna find that out very quickly. Let's go ahead and continue.
Boring. The characters are stupid, and the fans are even more stupider. They're goth, geek weirdos. Lots of people love these movies: Scream, Friday the 13th, Halloween. But today, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should never watch these movies ever again, and why the people that are obsessed with these horrible horror movies need to be banished from society. Also, if you log off this video at any point, I'm going to kill you with this knife. So I wouldn't recommend logging off.
So I think maybe at this point you're seeing what I was thinking, that, hey, this guy's trolling, right? Right? Unfortunately, finishing this video and taking a closer look at his channel, he is not.
On to reason number 1 why slasher movies suck. They're predictable. The same thing happens every single time. I mean, if there's one thing you can bet on in a slasher movie, it's people.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about film being predictable. So, like, how many narratives are there actually for film? Like, have you noticed that every rom com or the vast majority of rom coms have the same general formula? You notice that? Same with action films. Same with just about every type of genre and subgenre you can think of. There's only so many different narratives that they go with here, and a lot of times you're going to see overlapping of the overall narrative. I mean, there's so many, there's only so many stories you can tell. Like, if we're just being honest here. So that's something that I'll cop to, but it's not anything that is specifically just the slasher films that we have to deal with. That's every genre and subgenre as a whole.
People getting slashed, and not only just slashed, but also stabbed. Lots of times. And if you're lucky, maybe even their head smashed in with a hammer. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but a realistic depiction of somebody's head getting stomped on. Ooh, that stuff really gets me going, guys. Let me tell you. And the person doing all the slashing and smashing is just some random shy guy in a mask who doesn't talk much, and he just walks around town.
Yes, because Chucky doesn't exist. Neither does Freddy Krueger or any of the other various loudmouth, in your face slashers, right? Okay.
You know, picks a random person's house, walks in, murders them. Why does he do it? I guess he's just not a very nice guy. But I mean, everybody knows the premise of a slasher movie. People are getting slashed. I mean, I literally watched my first slasher movie the other night with Halloween Ends, and I know the plot of every single other one now. And every slasher.
Okay, so we caught that, right? I cut it up a little bit if anyone was having any trouble hearing it, so just let me know. So yeah, he just saw his first slasher movie just the other night. Halloween Ends, by the way, very interestingly enough, which I'm a fan of, but I know a lot of people out there are in fact not. If I am to believe that he is being serious, and I do, because 90% of the footage he uses in this video is from Halloween Ends. He Once again, I thought this guy was trolling until I took a look at some of his other content. He's literally watched one slasher film and is now going to make an entire judgment on the entire subgenre. So yeah, let's check it out.
Slasher movie, the first act is dedicated to introducing you to the main characters. Like they show you them eating dinner, or maybe they're going for a walk, and you're like, oh yeah, I eat dinner too, and I go for walks too. This is very relatable. And in the second act, we're introduced to the bad guy. He'll either be standing out.
So he's basically shitting on character relatability, which is something no writer has ever shot for, right? No writer ever wants their characters, especially the main characters, to be relatable to a general audience. That's a totally new thing that you've come up with here, my guy. Wow, interesting. Also, he talks about how they always introduce the killer in Act 2, which is interesting because my two favorite slasher flicks do that in the opening scene, Halloween and Scream. Both of them introduce the protagonist in the very opening moments of the film.
Outside the window to make sure you know he's there before he enters the house and proceeds to kill you. Or, maybe he'll give you a call, let you know he's on his way to murder you so you don't go to bed so he can hear you scream as he stabs you with a knife. Both are pretty bad strategies for killing people, like just literally letting them know that you're going to kill them. But we'll get to how dumb these characters are in a second. Also, throughout the second act, all the side characters that you don't have an emotional attachment to yet are being killed by the bad guy in cool, different, creative ways. One side character.
It's almost like they're setting up the stakes. They're taking the characters that you haven't built a rapport with and you really don't honestly care what becomes of them, showing you what this killer is capable of before placing the character you do have a rapport with, that you do care about, that you are invested in, with said killer. It's almost like there's storytelling going on here. What the fuck do I know?
Character might get stabbed in the neck. Another side character might get stabbed in the chest. And another side character that you really didn't like very much will get their head melted into molten with a blowtorch.
Woo!
It's another weird thing
One
these
can
writers
hope.
do. They intentionally put in characters that you're not supposed to like, so when the boogeyman violently kills them, you're happy. You're filled with joy. Oh yeah, I fucking didn't like that guy very much. You know, I'm glad that guy died. Like every slasher movie has that group of bullies that look like they're in their 30s, but they're like still wearing Letterman jackets and throwing around a football like they're in high school. And all the bullies do is like call one kid fat and they're brutally murdered. And the crowd's like, "Wah! Yeah! Oh, yeah."
That's I can think of some films off the top of my head that put calling someone fat to shame, and some of these more, I guess, revenge type flicks, but I guess that's neither here nor there. This guy's really trying to sell home the point here that the only people that would ever partake in any kind of unsavourable media have to be awful. So let's let him continue.
Yeah. You know what I thought was really funny? In the latest slasher movie, Halloween Ends, the group of bullies weren't football players. They were band kids. And I'll tell you right now, if I got bullied by a group of band kids, I'd hunt down Mikey Myers myself, hand him a kitchen knife, and be like, "Hey, man, could you maybe like kill me?" In the movie, the main character gets like shoved.
I'm sure he would oblige. So you're already going against this narrative that every slasher flick has a group of jock bullies. So we've already deviated 30 seconds away from that narrative. All right.
The ground, and like a little girl kicks him in the head. If that little girl kicked me in the head, I would domestically abuse her with this kitchen knife. But the writers also do the exact opposite of killing characters that you don't like by introducing you to characters with this funny little quirk that they have to make you like them immediately, and then 2 minutes later, they murder them to get like an emotional response out of you. Like maybe they would write a character named Johnny, and
I mean, like the scene that he's showing right there is not a murder. It's an accident. And it's one of the things that sets the movie he's talking about apart from slasher films and that franchise in general. So I don't know. I think he does a very poor job of not only his narration, but also some of the scenes that he selected for the certain parts of narration. He's just not very good at this.
silly little Johnny has a silly little quirk. He has Down syndrome. And on top of that, his legs don't work. And immediately, just by meeting Johnny, you already like him. You don't need to see him like walk because he fucking can't. Okay. But you feel for the guy. You feel bad for him because he has double downies. He's double downed. But anyway, in a slasher movie, when Michael Myers pulls up to a character's house like Johnny, the audience is like, "Oh no, what is Johnny gonna do? He can't out."
By the way, the guy who's now coining the term someone being double downed, referring to Down syndrome, this is the guy giving us lessons on morality. Just wanted to make sure everyone's aware.
Run, Michael Myers. He's got fucking Down syndrome. Well, no, that wouldn't be the issue. I've seen some kids in the Special Olympics that go pretty hard. The real issue is that his legs don't work.
This is the arbiter,
So the audience will be like,
arbiter
"Oh
of
my
morality.
god, no, Johnny, don't die," and then he dies. And the crowd's like, "Oh my god!" But they're also like, "Yo, go, Michael Myers, go!" Then you just have to watch your beloved Johnny get stabbed to death, and that's pretty emotional. But it's also predictable. Johnny has Down syndrome and he can't walk. As soon as I laid my eyes on Johnny, I knew he was a dead man. Another way they get an emotional response out of people is by having Michael Myers almost kill the main characters lots of times.
Now you'll notice at the beginning of this video, the premise was slasher films. It's even in the title. At this point, he has abandoned any idea that he's seen a single slasher film other than Halloween Ends, and he's now just referring to the protagonist or the killer as specifically Michael Myers. So the guy's already telling on himself, if you didn't already know, that he was being 100% serious at that part. So yes, please, arbiter of morality, tell me more about how inferior special needs people are while you're on your high horse here. This is interesting.
Times, but in the end, they survive all the attacks. And you already know that because they need to make a sequel. This is what the third act is dedicated to. And to create even more suspense, the main characters get close to killing Michael Myers himself, but obviously they can't do that because he's the face of the franchise. He's the money maker, baby. And at the very end of the movie, it's basically just them setting it up for a sequel. Like most endings are the people in the town celebrating that Michael Myers is dead. Like, woo, we shot him 16 times in the body. We got him good, but that guy's still fucking alive for some reason. Like, can one of these guys just shoot him in the head to make sure he's dead? Like, it's not that hard, man.
Jesus Christ, the only slasher movie you watch, they put him in a fucking grinder, my guy. Spoilers. But I mean, Jesus Christ, like just keep going.
And that brings me to the second reason slasher movies suck. The characters are retarded.
There he is.
Like, how does Michael Myers and Jason always pick the house where the people have zero athletic abilities whatsoever and are also retarded? I mean, they make really dumb decisions and they also don't know how to run properly. Like, how
So should I make an entire video dedicated to the fact that this guy can't stop dropping like special needs slurs? Uh, should I make a video taking down like the late 90s, early 2000s teen comedies? Is that what I should do? Should I blame this on an entire genre or subgenre rather of film? Is that what I should do? Or should I just address the fact that he himself is an asshole? There's a lesson in this, my guy, Mr. Mojo, whatever your name is. There's a lesson here.
how are you going to let yourself be killed by a guy with just a knife walking towards you at a very slow pace? All you got to do to get away from Michael Myers is shoot him in the head or run. Honestly, the 2014 Geico commercial said it best.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
Are you crazy?
This dude actually believes that. Okay, let me explain something to you, my guy. These things were indeed cliche. Pieces of horror, specifically slasher in like the late 80s. And like everyone noticed all these tropes, right? And then they had like a whole franchise called Scream that kind of examined those tropes and turned them on their head and gave slashers like a new breath of fresh air. And then we had this whole remake era. I mean, we've come a long way since this was the actual norm, my guy. You're just showing that you did absolutely no research. I mean, dude, if you had watched one slasher flick from each decade, from like the 60s to now, I wouldn't even give you this amount of flack. But holy shit, the motherfucker really watched Halloween Ends and decided he was going to make an entire commentary on the subgenre it belonged to. Fuck me.
Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart. Yeah, okay.
I think the only reason these characters end up in the closet is because, you know, they're gay. But it also makes for a very suspense-filled scene.
There he is again. There is our sense of morality from that guy. That was his idea of a joke, by the way. Like, did you notice he cut the music and he really thought he landed that shit? That was it.
Where the guy is standing
He
out there
thinks he's
side the
nailing
closet
this.
and he slowly moves towards it. It's a shot that goes back and forth from the victim to the guy with the knife. Victim, guy with a knife, and the last shot is him opening the closet, and he's like, and then the person's gone. They're not there anymore because apparently they have a trap door inside of their closet or a fucking window. That doesn't make any sense. Most closets don't have windows, man. Or even dumber is when the person just literally hides.
I can't think of a single example of that ever happening. And unless there was already some type of supernatural element already introduced in the film and there was an explanation for it. I don't remember someone just vanishing from a closet. But I mean, what do I know? I've watched Halloween Ends and maybe a few more, you know. What do I know?
It's behind clothes in the closet and Michael Myers just doesn't see them. Bro, you've killed hundreds of people in closets. What are you doing, bro? Yeah, not only are the victims stupid, the killers are dumb too. Like, what kind of an idiot kills people without a reason? If you're gonna kill somebody, you better have a reason. Remember that, kids. It's important. Like, here are a few good reasons why one person ends up killing another person. The other person killed their wife. That's a pretty good reason, right? Or maybe they killed their dog. That's a pretty good reason. Or maybe they're black and gay. That is a really good reason. If you're Jeffrey Dahmer. But the point is, the character has to have a...
Once again, that's this guy's, like, that's what he's bringing to the table. Like, I'm not shitting on dark comedy. Like, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that your joke sucked. Like, if you're going to say something edgy, like if you're going to push the envelope with a joke, the main thing you have to be concerned with is that the punchline is funny no matter who you are. And your punchlines aren't funny at all. They're literally just saying words that you think are cute. That's it. This is it crosses a certain line of you just being very uneducated on the topic, and it goes into cringe at this point. But we'll continue.
A motive for killing people, or I'm not fully invested in the story. I personally don't know why Mike Myers kills people. I think it's because maybe he's pure evil. But I think the real reason why Mike Myers kills people is because his parents named him Mike Myers after the Saturday Night Live comedian that starred in the live action Cat in the Hat movie.
Well, I mean, Mike Myers wasn't famous when the first movie came out, but I mean, there's even a better built-in joke there. The dude's middle name is Audrey. You could have went with something like that had you done like a modicum of research on the topic. But once again, we'll continue.
I'd be a little pissed off too. Okay, I'd be a little pissed off if my parents named me Adam Sandler. Well, who the fuck is that? There's somebody in my room, dude. My name's Bill Murray, man. Oh, cool. Like the guy from Ghostbusters. Shut the fuck up, man. Oh, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Damn. Oh shit. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly why slasher movies.
I'm gonna assume that was also supposed to be like a comedic sketch, but I mean, I really don't know how to feel about that. I feel like he wants me to laugh, but I just feel sad and like sore.
Are unrealistic. If Michael Myers came into my grandpa's house, he would have 18 bullets inside of his brain by the time he walked out. Or he probably wouldn't walk out because he had 18 bullets in his brain. But either way, he'd have a lot of bullets in his brain. But I already know what some of you horror fans are saying. You don't watch these movies because they're realistic. You watch them because it's a fun time, right?
Watching the movie Exorcist 3 was also part of his ritual. It put him.
I mean, I guess like a lot of therapists would say they're good ways to release your fears and anxieties that are a lot of times dealt with throughout the day in a safe environment. I guess that would be one benefit as to why someone may enjoy watching them. I don't think it has to go to the fact that they're watching it turn them into some type of killer, which is, I guess, what he's going to go for here. Because anytime I see, The Exorcist 3 in this type of video, my mind automatically is going to go to either Jeffrey Dahmer or the Gainesville Ripper, I believe, that also had a weird obsession with this movie. But yeah, let's see which avenue he goes down.
Him in the mood for murder.
I felt so hopelessly
we got a
evil and
Dahmer
perverted that I actually derived a sort of pleasure from watching that tape.
And that brings me to my third and final most important point. The people that watch horror and slasher movies on a regular basis are weirdo fucks. Since the villains in these movies
Okay, so what he's doing, he's blaming the movies. So before we even get any further, I should go ahead and let you know.
Now, sis, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos or create
That one of my favorite lines from that movie, and yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't. So you're telling me that Jeffrey Dahmer was fine until he watched The Exorcist 3? What about all the weird, fucked up shit that's documented he did in his life before he ever laid eyes on that movie? What about that, huh? Like, it's kind of ridiculous to believe that there were no pre-existing notions in his head. Nothing was going awry before he watched The Exorcist 3. That's what it was, folks.
don't have a reason for killing people. The whole point of watching these movies is just to watch people die violently. I mean, you do you, man, but I don't think watching multiple people be brutally murdered in front of my eyes with a machete is very fun. Like, I actually think that the people that are obsessed with horror movies and watching people die.
I mean, there's a total taste thing to that. Yeah, sure. It's not for everybody. Granted, sure. There are plenty of people that probably shouldn't watch it because it's just, they don't like to be scared. They don't want to see whatever kind of depictions they may see there. And that's fine. That's totally fine. What's not okay, by the way, is to go out there and have that feeling and then feel as if everyone else should feel the same exact way.
I think those people are messed up in the head. Like, honestly, who do you think is a better person? The person whose favorite movie is, I don't know, The Exorcist?
I actually derives a sort of pleasure from watching that tape.
Or The Grinch? The Grinch. Like, I can't be friends with somebody who prefers Halloween over Christmas. What kind of devil worshiping type
hold
shit?
on. So you're this dude really believes that you can make a judgment call on someone as a human being based on their favorite film and just simply how you feel about that movie. Like I'm a big movie buff. We're on a channel right now where all I do is talk about movies. That's fucking stupid.
Shit is that? But you know what? I think I can hear some of you demon worshipping freaks whisper into my ear,
"It's just a movie, Mr. Mojo. It's not real, you pussy."
okay, so is porn. Porn's fake, but you guys still fucking whack off to that shit like it's real life. Like, some people are probably imagining in their minds themselves.
That's not fucking anyone, though. That's still not the actual act. Like, for this scenario to work, they would have to go out and do the same exact things they saw in this porno with someone. And by the way, if it's consensual, who gives a fuck?
Elves killing people. Like, it probably brings a lot of these weirdos pleasure to watch people get killed.
I actually derives a sort of pleasure from watching that tape.
But you might be saying, hey, Mr. Mojo, I'm not crazy. I just watch horror movies because it's kind of like getting on a roller coaster. It gets my adrenaline pumping, it gets me nice and sweaty. It gets my palms nice and sweaty and my endorphins going in my brain. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is an experience, that's for sure. But I would argue that it's a negative experience watching innocent, men, women, and children.
Okay, so that's quite a claim. He's just finally gonna come out and say it point blank. It's a negative experience to watch one of these films. So that's gonna obviously be followed by why exactly he feels that way. And some evidence even. So let's go ahead and let's hear it.
Getting brutally murdered. If you need that to stimulate your brain chemicals, I don't know what to tell you. You're a weirdo, man. And me personally, I don't even enjoy being super scared unless there's a payoff in the end. Like, I'm being scared for a reason. Like, when you go up a roller coaster, you're scared on the way up, but it pays off because in the end, you get to ride this crazy ride. And as you get off, you're like, woo! The whole time I'm watching.
That's called the movie, you dumb fuck. That's what it is. From the first to the third act, when the credits roll, that's literally what the movie is. That is exactly what the filmmakers are trying to do to you. They're trying to take you on the proverbial roller coaster ride of whatever emotion they want to convey to you in that type of film. That's exactly what it is. God damn it. You miss even the most rudimentary shit. Like, it's fucking embarrassing.
Watching a horror movie, I'm like, fuck, man, this sucks. Like, I feel the same way about scary movie scenes as I do spicy food. Like, I'll put a little bit of hot sauce on my eggs, but I'm not going to eat an entire ghost pepper over and over. And that's what it's like to watch a horror movie. It's just like, oh, fuck, that hurts. Oh, let me do another one. Ah, hot. That's hot. And let me go in for another one. Oh, that's really hot. Movies already have enough scary.
You're just a pussy in general. You were right earlier to call yourself that. I mean, some people like hot food, my guy. Like, yeah, some people are going to continue to eat the pepper. It's okay. It's all right. As long as they don't overeat it and damage their insides, they're going to be all right. Which is a physical thing that actually happens. I'm shocked he didn't try to make a connection there based on that, but
very intense scenes to keep you engaged. If you need a horror movie to keep you entertained and engaged because it just constantly has these murder scenes being thrown in your face, you got something wrong with your head, man. But now that I gave you plenty of reasons to never watch a slasher movie ever again, I'm gonna give you
No,
some
wait a
other
minute.
movies you
Wait a
can.
minute. Wait a minute. So this is the same guy who said that the only slasher movie he had seen is Halloween Ends. To be perfectly honest with you, as far as slasher films go, and even as far as that franchise goes, that movie wasn't exactly loaded with kills. I mean, this wasn't like some late '80s Jason flick or something. Like I don't know. It like even based. I try to like put like what he knows as my blueprint to go forth, and even doing that is it's just difficult.
Watch during spooky season. Now, this is going to be a pretty hot take, but I believe the best movie with Halloween in the title is Halloween Town. Now, a lot of you probably think I'm a pussy after saying that, but you know what? I'll fucking kill you with this knife if you keep running your mouth, boy. Halloween Town is Disney's best movie, or well, at least best Disney Channel original movie. If there's any women watching this, you probably think this guy's dumb. Halloween Town's not the best. It's High School Musical. Well, I didn't watch that because I'm not gay. And you know what? I'd actually rather watch a slash
Fucking top comedy right there, man. Did everyone else like bust a gut laughing just now? Because the face he left us with, he clearly thought he nailed that one too. Christ.
movie than a musical. Because by God, I'd rather watch people get stabbed multiple times in their bodies than watch people break into song in the middle of a basketball game for no reason. But anyway, if you want to turn on an actually good movie on Halloween night, turn on Coraline. That shit is a banger. Not only is it one of my favorite Halloween movies, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. If you know me, you know I love claymation. And
Okay, so I'm gonna give him shit about Halloween Town, but I won't shit on him for this. I'm not personally a fan, but I'm not gonna say it's not a good, it's a good little flick. But Halloween Town, I don't know about that, man.
and this is the second best claymation movie in my opinion, next to Fantastic Mr. Fox. Right there, baby. It's just a beautiful movie story-wise and shot-wise. Like some of those shots are just beautiful and it make me want to come in my pants. But after you watch that movie, you should actually go search up the bug theory because that shit is interesting. And you get to watch a scary movie without having to watch a 6-foot-tall man stab people through the neck. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you don't subscribe, I'm gonna kill you with this kitchen knife in your home tonight.
So there you go. There once again, he's using that joke for the fourth or fifth time in the video. You know what? At this point, I'd rather him just lean on repeating the same tired didn't work the first time joke than trying to come up with any more because it gets really desperate and just it's not a good time. So folks, that's it for him. That's all for this guy. He seemed to be a hit in the chat. Everyone seemed to really like this guy. Everyone seemed to really to dig his vibe and thought he had a really good point to make, as you can see by some of the chats that I featured. So we do have one more. This guy doesn't drone on quite as long, but I did want to throw him in here as well because he comes from, once again, the same perspective that horror is in and of itself dangerous to people in one form or the other. He has a different approach to it. So we're going to check him out as well. Let's see here. We are going to take a look at this guy. And this guy, it's a car video, folks. So you know it's going to be classic. A classic in the making. Let's go ahead and wait no longer to dig in. This is I believe his channel name is Landon Williams, who has uploaded the video "Quit Watching Horror Movies, Go Outside." And before we even get started, I mean they still have some drive-in somewhere. I guess you could technically just go watch a movie outside if you wanted to, but I don't know. Maybe there's a point to this, considering this dude pulled over on the side of the road to make the video. I certainly hope there is.
All right. Well, had the impromptu idea to pull over and record this real fast because it's something that I've been talking about with people lately and thinking about. Stop watching horror movies. Why would I want to subject my mind to the darkest pits that Hollywood has to offer as far as out in the open? You know, what they've decided that what we have decided as a society is acceptable form of media, and what they have decided and been encouraged to produce. You know, it wouldn't be made if it weren't accepted. You know, society gets what it wants. You know, entertainment is so prevalent, and entertainers make so much more than teachers because we want to be entertained. We don't want to be taught. Not that the education system is all that hot, anyways. But
I mean, I'm fine with paying teachers way more than what they get paid. I'm okay, so I'm on board with him right here so far. If this is the only epiphany he's going to have while pulled over on the side of the road, that teachers deserve higher pay, all right, I'll give you that.
so I'm thinking, you know, a coworker of mine was texting me, and she said you know, I had just taken a trip to Arizona recently, and I was out, you know, in nature. I was and had a friend with me, but we were, you know, we went night hiking through the woods. I don't know many people that would night hike because they are so afraid that the hash slinging slasher is out there. Jason Voorhees. I don't.
Or now hear me out. It could be that they're afraid there's a wild animal out there. That's shit that totally happens, my guy. Maybe there may be a dangerous person out there. That actually does happen. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the fact that they're thinking about the last horror movie they watched in the back of their head. That's going to keep them from going there. There are real life reasons to stay out of the woods in the middle of the night. Just saying.
I only know these old. One of those is a SpongeBob character. I only know these old characters because I don't watch these horror movies. I don't understand people that want to.
So you don't watch them. So already right off the bat, go fuck yourself. Like if you don't watch, how do you know? How the fuck would you even know?
Scare themselves and be freaked out and give themselves something to worry about. Same with these true crime podcasts. I've noticed mostly women listen to these and watch these movies. That's all that I know. I don't know. This is coming from me. Everyone that I know that watches these movies and listens to these podcasts, women, younger women.
Hi, I'm Bran, younger woman.
And so let's take it into a spiritual mode. Our society is spiritually void and inept and behind. And so you go into this
How?
movie theater or put on this movie.
Wait a minute. You can't just say that and just skedaddle the fuck on past like that's it. Like you don't have to explain what you just said. What do you mean we're spiritually drained and behind? Like what the fuck does that even mean? That's nothing. That's you just said things. You have to explain that.
That's messing around with these horror themes and spiritual stuff. Like you get the demons and the exorcism and all that. Why is it so attractive? I think it's because we're so starved spiritually as a nation and as a people that we.
Or it could be because a large percentage of the population are anxious people, and it's a good way to get your fears and anxieties out in a safe environment. Maybe it's that. Maybe they just
become
like that
attracted
particular type of
to
entertainment.
something that is spiritual, and those movies and the dark stuff that they're doing in these movies and these weird messages and images that they're giving out are spiritual. It's got a spiritual back. You think those people are producing those movies and they're going out afterwards and frolicking in the lilies and, you know, enjoying the fine.
Thank you, R. Azrael, for the $2 super. Is this an older McLovin from Superbad? I mean, yeah, I can see. So what we have to do here, R. Azrael, is you and I have to come together and we have to make a video condemning Superbad from ever being made and every other film within that subgenre during that era because this video got made. That's what we have to do. Our problem's not with the guy who made the video. Our problem is with Superbad. That's what this is about.
You know, the good things about life. I don't think so. I think they're going home and getting into some weird stuff, man. I don't even want to think about it. I know it's weird. I see the people that come out of these come out of these scenes. But so you give a spiritually starved audience this supercharged demonic movie, and because they have no spiritual
What the fuck does literally any of that mean, though? Like, no, we're going back. We're going back. We're gonna try this again. I took it back like 20 seconds. Listen to this fucking word salad mumbo jumbo that's about to fall out of his fucking face, and you tell me if you can make heads or tails of it.
the good things about life. I don't think so. I think they're going home and getting into some weird stuff, man. I don't even want to think about it. I know it's weird. I see the people that come out of these scenes, but so you give a spiritually starved audience this supercharged demonic movie, and because they have no spiritual experience or progress, what have you, it's some, we long for spiritual experience. We long for that relationship with God.
Okay, well, you can get it. Like, I know that churches on the regular are at least open on what, Sundays and Wednesdays, and you can read your Bible pretty much whenever you want to, and you can practice your religion whenever you want to, and live your life however you want to. I don't recall the Bible saying that horror movies were bad, specifically because it was written during the Bronze Age and they didn't have films then. But even just conceding you that point, that's fine if that's for you, my guy. But just because you feel that way doesn't mean that everyone else has to adhere to your belief system.
And it gets supplemented by so many things, and especially when these movies are tapping into spiritual things, just we as a people, it's a working theory. I hope I'm wording this okay, that people get it. But
No, you're not being specific about anything at all, really. You just keep saying certain words like spiritual has fallen out of your face quite a lot. And I really don't know what the hell you're talking about. So if you do see this, no, you are not being you're not being very on the out in the open here. I have no idea what's happening. I know now that there's some general like religious reasonings behind this, but as far as to like what it is specifically, I'm still lost.
there's a phenomena. Many people believe in almost anyone you talk to believes in demons. How many of them believe in angels and are as interested in talking about angels as they are demons? Very, very different.
Is that true?
Numbers on that whole scene.
Is that true that most people believe in demons? Like, I'm gonna let this play, but I'm gonna look that up. Like, I don't know if there's like a stat been done on that, but I don't know. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just curious more than anything else.
So these horror movies of people out in nature and video games of being out in nature, it scared people away. We have been given nature by God to go out and get to the rhythm of nature. Out in the forest of Arizona, Coconino National Forest.
So is this just like an outdoorsman who's pissed off that they made the Blair Witch Project? Is that what this boils down to? Like he's super upset that like none of his friends want to come out in the woods anymore and hike with him at 2 a.m.
I was so far out in there. I didn't hear any cars honking. I didn't get in traffic jams. I wasn't bumping into some bum on the street begging me for some money, drunk and waving a knife at me.
By the way, from what I'm seeing here, it says more than 1 in 5, 22% say that demons definitely exist. So about 22%. So I wouldn't say that's like any kind of majority or anything. Thank you, Mistaken Reaper, for the $2 super. What the fuck, these two people? What the fuck, these two people for real? That's an actual question that I want answered right now. I like I said, I've reviewed some of the Quartering's awful takes when it comes to horror, and I reviewed this one guy who lives in his car, his take on horror. Not this guy. I don't know if he lives in his car or not. The other guy said he did. And I got a comment from someone saying to check these two guys out. And that's what I did. And here we are. And I apologize for what I've imposed on you all, but it had to be done for the sake of mankind.
Which I had a bum encounter in Arizona, and it was close to a knife. It was actually scissors, but that's not out in nature. And
I was attacked, and it was almost a knife. It was a pair of scissors. Like, yeah, you're a real badass now, kid.
it's very, very rare that I don't even know if you could say it's rare. It's very minimal that some guys out there waiting to kill you, but these movies and these games and this media and these true crime.
Bro, I'm just gonna be honest. Like anyone who spends any amount of time with you, and never mind. You're gonna keep going. Never mind.
Podcast, acting the true crime podcast acting the same way that the news does. The news makes money off negative stuff. Well, these true crime podcasts, they make, their views come from these horrible stories and disgusting things that humans have done. And it scared people from getting out in nature and getting into the rhythm that God has set in nature, and it keeps us from disconnecting from the noise and all that because we're afraid to go spend some time alone out in the woods. I would advise you do it almost immediately. Get as far away from the roads as you can. Have some safety in mind. I know how to get back. Don't get lost. Don't get lost.
He's
Take a
super
flare gun
awesome.
if you're worried. Whatever. You can find your way back. Just get out there and it's quiet.
This dude just like oversimplifying, like, going out into the woods in the middle of the night and encouraging people to do it. He's going to cause way more harm to other people than any horror movie ever would. Like, that's really what's happening right now. Stop watching horror movies. Fuck the Blair Witch Project. Get the fuck outside. Go get lost in the woods and possibly end yourself. It's a good plan. Don't look into like how to actually prepare yourself before you do these things. Just go do it.
Quiet of a place.
Horror guy said so.
And just observe. Don't gotta do anything else. Low battery. Just observe. What never know what you might see. You might just find a nice
what?
Know what I mean?
Oh,
Quit watching horror movies. Go listen to true crime podcasts. Go outside.
and thus concludes his presentation. He can now start his engine back up, pull back onto the road, and realize that he has made a zero fuck difference with the world. So congratulations to you. I still don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Something about like your religion says maybe I guess you shouldn't watch it or something. You weren't really specific. Something about a spiritual drainage. I don't know what's happening with that. Consult a physician. But I mean, yeah, dude, it's one of those things. Like, it's okay for you. I don't understand this specific thing that has to be said about horror films that don't have to be said about any other type of movie, is that people have to come out and say they're against them. Like, where are all the videos of people coming out and saying they're against romantic comedies? I don't fucking see it. It's so weird that people feel the need to actually do this when it comes to this genre specifically. So I do like to highlight it when it happens and laugh at the atrocious reasoning behind their awful opinion. So I once again thank you all for joining me for this rousing round. We had a twofer this time. That usually doesn't happen. Like I say this happens a lot, and it does happen more than any other genre. But I'm starting to run dry. So if anyone runs across anything for me to look at, send it my way, please, because apparently I thought I had looked at just about all YouTube had to offer, and found out today from two different videos I was very wrong. So yeah, it started in the early 80s brand with the Satanic Panic. I know, and it's funny that has lingered on to today. It's just interesting to me, especially because it's never the same reason. There's always just a litany of reasons that have started from exactly what you were talking about and manifested over time. So I don't know. I always find it interesting, and it's generally speaking, it's pretty funny. because 9 times out of 10, the person making said presentation is visibly stupid, and it leads to some pretty funny moments. So yeah, once again, thank you all for joining me. That's going to be it for this evening. And I don't know, like I said, if anyone finds anything, send it my way. If it's worth taking a look at, we'll do another one of these. Yeah, in the meantime, as always, give it a like on the way out, subscribe as usual, all that YouTube jazz, and we'll catch you all next time.